This is the Prusa CORE One. No, not the fully assembled one, not the easy route. This is the kit. And it's really crazy that I'm coming at you saying that I have a kit for a 3D printer on my desk. Last time this happened, Alan Mandic really came up and we built a Voron. Yeah, dude, yeah. And that was in the previous studio. Let's see what kind of trouble I can get into with a CORE One kit.
Let's do this.
I'm not gonna record every single step in this. I'm gonna go through the build process. And I know there are times when the instructions tell you, hey, it's time to eat a specific gummy bear. And at that point, I'm gonna grab my Osmo and maybe kind of give you an update, a lay of the land, so to speak, of how things are going, because I'm hoping it goes well. Like, I am technical. I've remodeled houses and I've built software and I've climbed to the top of I haven't really. What I'm saying is I have the skill set and the mindset that should make this go. And I'm kind of really excited to see if that's true. So let's build a CORE One. It's gummy bear time, so it's time for an update. And I've done the bottom part, I got the feet on, and then this bottom plate, I was able to get the Z motors in. I got the little shims, I think they were, zip ties in for wire routing, and these little screws to kind of hold the bottom plate to this plate. I think for now, we're making really good progress, and using the instructions that Prusa provides is great because it's not as complex as I was thinking. So I'm gonna keep going. This is the back part, and it's doing pretty good. These feet are terrible. That adhesive just doesn't do the trick. I know there's a mod, and maybe we'll do that later. But for now, feet are falling off, it's fine. Here, let me show you something really, really cool. I've got the power supply, wire cover. I've got, this is the electronics boards, the FE cable sticking out. Fans are wired in, tighten some zip ties. This is my usage pile. I did drop a screw on the ground. I had to find it. That was thrilling. Let's just keep going. Gummy bear time. Check this out. I've got a heat bed installed. The heat bed install was pretty good. So these bearings went in here. Got the wires from the heat bed coming out here. I got the sleeve on. Sleeve goes behind. Sleeve goes in. Sleeve is held in with a zip tie. So here's the back. Electrical looking pretty decent. I think I gotta wrap that up. This might go under a zip tie, something like that. Everything's going to be contained in two halves, like there's this half and there's the top half or something like that. But we're friggin' getting there. And I'm really happy about this. The instructions have been fantastic. This is a very lengthy, detailed, but easy to follow build kit. I'm just happy that I get to tell you about it. Not a Haribo update because we actually ran into an issue. The idler pulley thing, it broke.
Not good.
This is printed in PCCF blend. Because it's a 3D printable part and I've got other machines, I'm printing it. This CORE One is called the CORE One Unobtainium, because why not? And I'm currently reprinting the parts in PCCF on that sweet Ember Prototypes plate. Look at that. Once that's done, then we can bring it over and continue the build. I do have the CoreXY mechanism in the machine. The smooth rods are connected up. Lots of wires have been routed, which is kind of fun. This was an interesting exercise, putting this together. I'm familiar with what the CoreXY motion system is, but being able to put it together from the ground up is pretty cool. When I did the Voron, Alan Mandic did that part because I trusted him and I was really scared. This time though, I went through with it. It wasn't scared. I wasn't too scared. I was more anxious just to make sure I got it right. The heat bed is in. The motion system is in. Belts are attached. Let me bring you around back. We got some wires plugged into the boards here. Wires routed. Fans are connected. Screws are holding things in place. I don't know. I think we're making good progress here. This is kind of cool. I'm going to find some lunch because I'm hungry. Your brain needs energy to put this stuff together, and my brain right now needs a lot of energy.
Later.
Haribo time once again, and here's kind of where we're at. I was able to get, let's see, CoreXY is up here, the extruder and the love board, the blower fan. I greased stuff, and we got the PTFE tube and the main cable, and that's all going. It's all going that way. I only lost one screw. That's not too bad.
Pretty good.
Getting everything shoved through holes is difficult when they're full of wires, and a little grommets kind of come out, so I've had to put some of those back in. I'm not the proudest of my wiring job. I don't know. I hope it works. You know, I'll be able to get some zip ties in here. We're almost there. Holy crap. Some of it was easy. Some of it was really hard, and we're not even done yet. So just to, let's see, recap. We got the front things on. We got the top things on. This side with the filament sensor. This goes on to connect to this thing, which is attached, but it's at a slight angle. Then you got to pop the rivets in. This took way longer, way longer than I thought it was going to. It's starting to really look like a 3D printer. I'll have some final thoughts and feedback on the entire kit experience at the end. But for now, let's just keep going. It's Haribo time, and look at that. Look at that. That is an assembled Core One 3D printer. I did that. Look at, I got the door on. Uncle Jesse, check it out. I can bend it all the way. Huh? So the acrylic up top, the vent, acrylic on the side, the screen. The next steps on the instructions are titled Calibration and First Run. Well, setup and calibration, there were some issues, and let's talk about them. So the fans in the back, the chamber fans, those ones way back there, for some reason one of them wasn't turning. I popped off the cover of the board in the back, checked the connectors, they were fine. I started pulling one and then pulled the other just to see if it was a fan that was bad or a port that was bad, because there's two fans, two ports. They both work now. It's weird. So it wants me to go through belt tuning, but it says, hey, do the belt tuning and then be sure to come back here. But the place where it specifies it is before the first run in calibration. I turned it on and I went through stuff, and then I went through the belt tuning wizard, which vibrates the belts back and forth at a certain frequency, and then you pick the frequency and you say what it is. For the life of me, I can't see it. I saw some vibrations, little bits. I was tightening things because it said to tighten things. It was loose from install, and I wasn't sure how much to tighten it. I left it kind of loose during install. I never tightened it. Everything is square though. I think it's around 90 Hertz. Let's start a print. We did it! We friggin' did it! We did it. We built a Core One 3D printer. First of all, the blue benchy that I made, I believe was with a silk material, and it had some problems with the chimney because of heat. So what I did is I loaded in some Prusa Galaxy Black PLA, pretty standard stuff for this machine. And then I did the rules benchy, which I did with the blue as well, and I hit print, and it spit out a better benchy. That benchy is better on the build plate right there. Notes on the build process. I was really happy I was able to tackle this, and parts of it were easier than others. I think that Prusa has really done a fantastic job putting together the instructions for the kit build. I think there's places where they can add a little bit more detail. Like there are times towards the end where they reference pieces, but they don't tell you where to go grab it from. I think installing the filament sensor is a world of pain on this side. I did not have fun doing that. I don't know if there's a better way to do it, but it is what it is. The chamber fan in the back, for some reason, just wasn't going, and now it's going. I wiggled some things in the box, but as far as I could tell, I had it in the same plugs as before, and then it just kind of kicked on all of a sudden. It might have been that the grill was broken. I eventually pulled the grill parts off. I'm not quite sure, but it's working now. And belt tuning, for whatever reason, I just can't see the belts in the way that you're supposed to. I tried using the phone app where it listens and you strum it like a guitar chord, and it was telling me between 80 hertz and 125 hertz, so that wasn't reliable. I will talk with Prusa support, in fact, Shane over at Prusa support, but also I think that for something like this, the instructions are written for one person to do the entire build. If I remember our time at Printed Solid when we showed the room where they were building the Core One 3D printers, they did it in stages. I think for the Core One kit, which is already fantastic from my experience in it, it would be great to have that as a resource for engineering classes or STEAM classes, and it could automate the stages of the build, which would, I think, be cool. Not everybody can do this, but most people could if they tried. The instructions are there. It comes with all of the right tools, and you just need a plethora of space to put it together, but you could do it. I did it. Once I dove into it, it all made sense. And when things started going together and screws tightened up and things plugged in, it felt good. What if a classroom of kids got to experience this in a segmented build, and from that class, some engineers sprouted? How cool would that be?
That's rad.
Well, that's my feedback on this. I think it was fun. There were some issues along the way. I was able to mitigate some. Belt tuning, I just can't see it. And the filament sensor, that needs to change, you guys, come on. But at the end of the day, I have a working Core One that I assembled. I built this. And I'm really happy about it. I've named it C1 Assembled because I'm not clever. But if you could think of a better name to celebrate what I've said about this and what it means, leave it in the comments below. Well, thanks for coming along on this journey. If you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more. Fight for cause you believe in. Build all the things. And as always, high five.